Your Humanities Half Hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council, navigating the human experience together.
Hafaday, Diro, and welcome to Your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry, and today we're talking about the Saipan Land and Sea program. And our guests are Dr. Ann Ticknor. She's a professor with the College of Education at East Carolina University, and also one of the program participants, a local teacher, Amie McRoberts. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
First of all, you're looking a little red tintish. I'm taking this is not a sitting in an air-conditioned kind of program, huh?
It is not. No. So it's a week-long residential program funded by the NEH, and we are out and about. So part of what we're doing in the program is we're bringing together educators, K-12 educators, and we are living Saipan. We are feeling the sun, we're feeling the breeze, and we have been out and about. Mm-hmm.
What is the purpose of this program?
The purpose is to bring professional development for K-12 educators, and so we have educators from on island, Guam, Hawaii, and mainland. So we have about 17 states represented from mainland, and we're bringing these educators together here so that they can experience Saipan's history, heritage, and culture, and then bring that back to their students in their curriculum.
How did you come up with the idea for this? Bringing teachers from across the country, even some foreign countries, I understand?
Yeah, we do have a teacher who is at a DoD school in Japan, and so she's joining us too. Well, about almost 10 years ago, 2017, I was here with Dr. Jen McKinnon, who is someone familiar to a lot of people here from ECU. And we were doing a program together. She asked me to be involved. And we met some educators in the program, Anna Yamada and Layla Staffler. And they said, why don't we do this for teachers? And so it took a minute, but here we are, and that's what we're doing.
Awesome. So Amie, you teach here in the Marianas. Tell us a little bit about what you teach and your involvement with the program.
I do. I came to Saipan on spring break almost 19 years ago, and I'm still here. I haven't left. I teach at Saipan International School.
All right. What subjects do you teach there? Is it only history?
No, I'm the 4th grade homeroom teacher, but I'm also the environmental art teacher.
Oh, that's cool. 4th grade, bringing history alive for 4th grade. Okay. So how's the program going for you so far?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I read the subtext there.
No, it's been a lot to think of because I've lived here for so long and I've been on a lot of hikes, but I never knew the history behind the places that I was going on hikes to. And you drive down Beach Road and you see it, but you don't really stop and think about what the history is behind it. So it's been a lot to think about. The days are long, and then you go home and you think about what it is that you're seeing on island. So it's been great.
Well, what are maybe a couple of the places you've gone to that have stood out to you, or be like, oh yeah, I drove that 5 million times in the last 19 years, and now it has a new meaning to me.
The cave by the Shell gas station.
Wait,
there's who knew there was one there?
Shell Middle Road?
Down by the laundry.
now we sound like we're really
oh, sorry, 19 years. There's a cave back there, and that's not. I've never even. It didn't even occur to me that there would be something back there.
Okay. And what is the importance of creating a sense of place for students, especially not from here, but as you've pointed out, you can be from here and not really realize what it is you're looking at.
Right.
But why? Why the emphasis on this quote-unquote sense of place?
Right. Well, the program was designed to be place-based specifically because of what we're doing. We are coming together on Saipan, whether you're from here, live here, or are journeying here, to experience this place, its history, its heritage, and its culture through the landmarks, through the community, by walking through a tunnel, by walking through the jungle, by listening to community partners that are speaking with us and sharing their knowledge, but having that experience together. It really brings the history home in a humanizing way, but also in a more real way. We can feel the history. We can stand in the place where something happened, hear the story about it, touch it, look at it, but feel it all through your body. And place is part of our identity. It shapes who we are, and we can bring that experience and that learning that we have felt here in Saipan back to our students too.
Amie, you've been in the program really only a few days now. What is it, has anything inspired you, or what are you thinking? Like, what's going on as you're going on these hikes and stuff? How do you think you might be able to translate what you're experiencing to your students?
Well, so we take a field trip to AMP every year, but it's making me think, well, maybe I need to take them some other places so they can see it more than just the museum, but actually go on some field trips to see where those things are, not just the pictures of them.
Right, right.
And how did you come to be a part of this program? It's kind of like people have to apply?
They do. It's quite a process, and we've had a great interest. This is our second time offering it. And we have great interest every time. And so it is an application process. They get a lot of emails from me. I have to fill out a lot of forms. And there's a stipend at the end too. And but it is I'd say a little bit rigorous.
You want to know that they want.
We do, and I ask them over and over, commit.
How many do you kind of decide, like, we're going to take this many teachers from the States and this many from the islands?
Right.
Or?
Yeah, we don't do that exactly, but we do want to have a geographic balance. So we do want to make sure that we do have teachers from on island and we do have teachers from off island. So how that actually plays out. In this program, we have 60 total over the 2 weeks, and 25 are from Saipan, or live on Saipan. And so that's a good balance, but it's not quite half and half. But it provides that community and interaction with people who teach in different places, but might teach the same grade, or might teach with a similar curriculum, but in a very different context. So it brings that informal learning and community building as well.
How did you come to be a part of the program?
Multiple people put the article on my desk and said, Amie, you need to apply for this. This is for you.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, I actually didn't see the article in the newspaper, but there was an article in the newspaper and it kept reappearing on my desk. So
it was meant to be.
It was meant to be, and I'm really glad that they forced me to do it.
How often do you do this? I mean, COVID aside.
Right, right. So this is the second time we've offered it. The first time we were here in 2023. So this is 26, and then we have applied, fingers crossed we get the funding, to run it in 27.
Okay, so that would be the time that if there are any educators out there that are interested, they start paying attention and look for Saipan Land and Sea program, any news on that.
Exactly, yeah.
So you've actually brought a couple other people to share their stories as well, but before you go, is there anything else you'd like to add before we transition?
I really want to talk about our community events that are open in the evening, and we hope the community comes to join us. Our first one, we have several, and we do them twice, one this week and one next week. So we have Genevieve Cabrera, who is giving a lecture about NMI history. We have Nancy Bow Flood, who many people know from Warriors on the in the Crossfire.
And Legends of Micronesia?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. And so she'll be speaking about her experiences both working with community members to write these stories and to share these stories. And then we also have Galvin De Leon Guerrero, who is sharing a couple different things, but he's sharing the new Covenant film that he was part of.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And where can people find the details of when those will air, or when those presentations will be?
Right. The Humanities Council has shared in all of their social media. I believe it's been in a couple different news outlets as well, but we have a website. I can't tell you the name off the top of my head.
It's okay, we're going to cut to break. We will find out during the break. Okay.
Yeah, and I also want to make sure that I talk about, we've mentioned Fred Camacho and Anna Yamada, but also Lale Villagomez is part of our group too, and Mac James, who teaches on Rhoda. And so we're really happy to have this wonderful project team, and that is what makes the program. Saipan is the reason we're here, but together we are sharing our different experiences and knowledges to make this a well-rounded program.
Cool. Well, thank you for your vision and
you.
wanting to make this happen for the educators. And good luck teaching fourth graders about World War II.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what you come up with. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Our guests have been Dr. Ann Ticknor and also Amie McRoberts, a teacher here in Saipan, talking about the Saipan Land and Sea program. And we'll be back with a couple other participants after the break.
Looking for resources about Marianas history, culture, and more? Well, check out the Northern Marianas Humanities Council's collection. Our extensive video, audio, and photographic library can be found on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at 670 Humanities. Or check out the written resources on our website at nmhcouncil.org. And for those who prefer a good book, we also have a selection of local publications for purchase. So, dive in, explore, and share your comments as we navigate the human experience together.
Hafaday, Zantiro. I'm Leo Pangilinan with the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. We'd like to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors who have made possible the many programs in our community like this show. We couldn't have done it without them. And if you value the work we do and would like to make a contribution to our efforts, we ask that you consider making an in-kind or cash contribution to the Northern Marianas Humanities Council. Any amount is appreciated, and donations of up to $5,000 qualify for an educational tax credit. We appreciate your partnership and support. Sizus Maasi, Olomai, and thank you.
Welcome back to your Humanities Half Hour. We're talking about the Saipan Land and Sea program, and our guests in this half of the show are one of the project team members, Aaron Sullivan, and also one of the teacher participants, Melanie Hangca. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Hafaday.
You look familiar.
Yes.
Why do you look familiar?
Because I am a Saipanese, Chamorro Rafalawash Chamalerican, I guess you would say. Yeah.
Son of Uncle Mike White and
Yes,
Auntie Rose White.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I try to come back as often as I can every year.
Sully, maybe we can start with you. You were actually a participant in the first episode of this program, and now you're back actually helping the team. How did that happen?
Well, in 2023, I was fortunate enough to be selected by ECU and NEH to take part in this wonderful program that was put on 3 years ago. And I was beyond over the moon to be selected because I have studied World War II history and so extensively in my class, and I wanted to be able to bring the stories of the people more than just the World War II history and a sense of place to my classroom. Relevance and buy-in is so important. So the being able to go and live the history and then bring those lessons to my students brings the history alive for my students, and it lets them buy into the story. So it's something that an in-depth study of being here only can do. We want to get away from learning just from textbooks and learning from a sense of living history, bringing history alive to the classroom. And being here and seeing it and touching and feeling and walking up the hills and going through the battlefield and showing a sense of honor and respect for what was given here, and knowing the sense of sacrifice that was given. That's only something that really you can do when you're there. And so that was my first opportunity as a participant. And 3 years later, I was asked to come back as part of the project team. And I was over the moon then too. So having gone through it in 2023, it really opened a new story for me to tell in the classroom, and it got my students again this year so excited to go through and do it. And then,
Tell us about your students. What age do you teach? What are you teaching?
yeah, absolutely. I teach in San Diego, in El Cajon, California. We're a Title I public school, and I teach 135 students a year, 8th grade U.S. history.
Nice.
And we're a K through 12 district, and we have many, many, many students. It's a very large district in San Diego, made up mainly of, we have a large refugee population. We're part of an economic disadvantage area of San Diego, so these kids have some challenges in their education world. And being able to have these type of experiences is what really gets those type of kids that we're struggling to get to the next level, to get them to graduate high school and to get them to raise their literacy. This type of program brings history alive and gets them interested and involved in ways that others can't, and certainly ways that learning out of a textbook just can't do.
Good point. Melanie, who are your students?
Well, I teach K through 5 at an elementary school in Kent, Washington, which is in Western Washington. It is also a Title I school. I have a lot of students, but primarily, in addition to seeing the whole population, I also see a significant number of Pacific Islander students.
Right.
Yes, some Marshallese, Micronesian, yes, some Chamorro, I'm lucky enough. And because I lived and taught for many, many years on the East Coast, the further west I traveled, the more I saw faces that looked like mine. So it was a little bit of it felt a little bit like a welcome back to be able to be a teacher to at least a diaspora of students from the places in the Pacific. So I teach general music. I also sing professionally. I sing with a local symphony orchestra as a member and as a soloist, and a vocal coach. So I work with adults and with kids.
So having grown up here now and going through the program, have you learned anything new?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked. There were a few other local teachers here, and on the first day when we were reflecting on our experience, we all raised our hands and said, there were places here, and we're from here, and we had never, ever heard of or been, let alone been to these places. We could name at least 3 places on the first day alone. It was an eye-opener and a
How did that make
experience.
you feel?
I've always been very aware of how special this place is. And I don't think I'm just biased because I'm from here. I'd grown up hearing the stories from my aunties, from my grandmother, from different elders about the very special places, the history that came with this place. There's a deep love, and there's always a deep longing for home. And so when I hear about something new, I learn something new, whether it's at a conference or whether somebody says, hey Mel, there's a book here. I'm always sort of like, let me have it, give it to me, can I have it? So this was just really, it felt like a once in a lifetime experience to be able to learn on site about our island.
So I think most of the people listening who haven't been a part of the program, and that's most of us, now want to be a part of the program based on your description.
Yeah.
So Anne kind of mentioned, and you have alluded to some of the activities you're doing. You should talk more about the ones that are open for the public. But what's going on behind the scenes with all these hikes, and what else are you guys getting during this intensive 1 week course.
Well, yes, you're right. You mentioned hikes. We have a tremendous guide in Fred Camacho who takes us to the wilds of the interior and searching for history in places that are off the beaten path. And Fred is an absolute expert and a hero of mine, and I think the world of him. And his knowledge of the island is bar none. So having someone who's local, whose family has been here forever, that can tell us the stories of their people, his people, who can take us to his family's cave, who can show us the history and tell us the
like
stuff.
the cave where they hid during the war?
Yeah, well, yes, down
Okay.
near the beach. We went yesterday.
Okay.
And so being able to see that and know that their family had taken refuge there, their animals had taken refuge there, that people and civilians and Japanese took refuge there. You have a bunch of different histories happening at the same time on the same ground. And so it's more than just a study of World War II, because World War II is an event that happens over a short period of time. But this history that we're learning over here is covering years of time Fred's a little kid, and the time his grandfather, the time the stories that go down. So Fred's not only just taking us up to these World War II sites, we're hearing the stories of culture during this time as well. So it's a multi-sensory experience, and it's something that you mentioned, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So it's not something you get an opportunity to do, and you should jump at the chance to it, because those hikes are one thing. We got to go and fly to Tinian and took a tour with Deborah Fleming, see the history of the nuclear strikes, to see Tinian, to see the cultural sites of Tinian. So we are busy. We are busy, and we're using every moment that we can to make the best use of it. So those are just two, but I could bore you.
No, go ahead.
Well, we're going to visit a collection of artifacts later tomorrow. We're going to have multiple opportunities that they have for traditional navigation and sail. So there's a multitude of things that they're using when we're not out in the jungles and we're not in the A&P classroom. So it's an experience like none other, and those individuals that want to go, I encourage it, because like I said, you said it well, once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
How do you make World War II history alive for little kids?
Well, in my case, because I'm a specialist, I do music, I'm actually very interested in indigenous children's music. So, and I've been collecting that for a while.
Do you remember this song, Salamaikaro, Salamaikaro?
Which is interesting because the tune is a Japanese tune.
Interesting.
And I think the difference between cultural appropriation and, say, subaltern resistance, not my idea, it was Michael Clement Jr.'s. He's a professor on Guam, music professor. But we were talking with some of the other educators about it who were interested in doing multicultural music and asked me about it. And how does that relate to what I know about Saipan and bringing this experience to children? And how you would teach something that's developmentally appropriate, what's appropriate for this age group. There are all sorts of ways to connect it to kids in schools, because like he mentioned as well, I have a population of students who are refugees. Some of them come in to my class, and I will never forget experiences like this where they can't speak the language. They're absolutely out of their depth. They are weeping, and it's different than a child who normally wails, but there are children who are weeping when they come in, and they can't speak the language. And I make it very clear to them that here in this space, this is a safe space and everyone is welcome. And I get that from my experience being from Saipan. There is no other way to explain my philosophy and point of view without being able to point back to where I come from and why that is the way it is. I feel like it's a strength as a teacher to bring that to a classroom where everybody needs to feel like they're valuable. Everybody has to be able to learn the concepts, but from where they happen to be at the time. academically. So I make sure that my students understand you don't have to speak to be able to participate. You don't have to speak. You don't have to know exactly the same thing to belong or to be valued. And I learned that here.
If you could describe Saipan, not being from here, briefly, a sentence to somebody who's not from here, how would you describe it? Let's say the Marianas.
Well, knowing the history of it, the first word that comes up is resilient. That's the first. The second word that comes up is absolutely beautiful. And the third thing that comes to my mind is the people. The people,
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
The people are what actually make the experience for me. And as you can hear, the voices, the local input, the people of the CNMI being part of this program is for me what makes this program. Because I sit and listen as a student. I may be part of the project team, but I'm a student when I'm listening to the participants talk about their experiences. And that's what actually it's all about, is the human contact and the human voices. That's what I'm trying to bring to my classroom, is the voices. To have them understand and feel passion and to feel the experience. That's what it's all about. Place-based history, living history, you gotta feel it. That's what I have to have in order to have the kids buy in. That's my hook. So to hear the voices come across and how these different lessons are put in different categories, because you can apply this to humanities, you can apply it to art, you can apply it to music, you can apply it to all these things, because that's what the community brings to the table here. We have educators from all different venues and walks of life, and we're strong because of our diversity and in different backgrounds. And that's a strength. That's what makes us better, and that's what we're constantly learning. Just driving a car, I'm listening to the different perspectives, and I get to bring all those perspectives back to my classroom and say, look, I met this person, and I keep contact with these people.
And you were actually saying before we started the show that your kids, because you have shared these stories with them, had an emotional reaction when they were watching the news about Super Typhoon Sinlaku.
Absolutely, 1,000%. My students, number one, when their teacher was selected in 2023, they immediately bought in and they started looking up what is Saipan. They followed all the pictures that I brought back. They were completely interested. So I had a whole group of students in 2023 who now knew about the CNMI, and a lot of them didn't before. In 2026, we were planning on coming back. I was accepted to come back as a part of the project team. My students this former year got completely excited, bought in, and then the typhoon comes. It's on CNN 10. My students who may have not even paid much attention to that before, now Mr. Sullivan's going there. Now they're bought in every single day, and in a word that I would say is awareness. It brought awareness to my classroom, 135 students. It brought awareness to those parents that when they go home and talk about these things that we're talking about in class. It brought awareness to the struggles, and seeing it on CNN 10 every day, they're the ones asking, when are they going to get power back? When is they going to do this? Because they understand now the geography, they understand the struggles, and they understand through the stories that I tell them later how resilient the people of the CNMI are. So it's been a godsend on multiple fronts, because it brought a level of education that would not have potentially been there before. And that's why the gratitude for this, with NEH and ECU is so high, because you're influencing minds and minds and minds down the road from this program.
Definitely. Guys, thank you for sharing your thoughts today. Any final words before we go?
No, just a pleasure to be here and speaking with you about this.
Yeah, pleasure to have you.
Mine's gratitude. I'm very grateful to the people at CNMI and how much I've been welcomed here, and you have a special place in my heart, so thank you very much.
Welcome, anytime. You're family now.
All right, I'll take it.
We've been chatting today about the Saipan Land and Sea program, and they do have a couple of activities coming up that are open to the public in the evening at American Memorial Park. A few speakers, Genevieve Cabrera, Nancy Flood, and also Galvin Guerrero, speak about some of their projects. So you can find the details in the local news or on the Northern Marianas Humanities Council website. In this half of the show, we've been chatting with Aaron Sullivan. He's part of the project team, and also Melanie Hangca, also formerly known as Melanie White, one of our own. She's a program participant this year. And again, the program is Saipan Land and Sea. Lots to learn out there. This has been your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
Your Humanities Half Hour has been made possible in part by a major grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Democracy demands wisdom. Any views, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities. For more information or to share your thoughts, contact the Northern Marianas Humanities Council at nmhcouncil.org or on social media at 670 Humanities. That's 670 Humanities.